multi-million-dollar estates on the ocean. No. You see, they had a lookout, Vivian, who was always there, making sure there weren't any problems. Over the years, Vivian developed such trust with these owners that she had keys for most of the houses. That would be pretty good follow-through right there, but there's more. Before these owners would arrive for their vacations, a lot of them would call up and say, Vivian, I'm going to be at the house on Thursday or whatever. Vivian would go check the house, make sure there were no problems, make sure everything was working, and even put milk and juice into the refrigerator. If any of these people, and, there were landscapers to deal with, and there was always some kind of construction or whatever going on, the contractors could come and they could get the keys from Vivian. Now, if you were a wealthy person and a lot of these people would fly into their destinations, well, you could, no need to call up a taxi, you could call up Vivian's real estate office and she'd have Al go down and pick you up. There was never any charge for any of these personal services that Vivian provided. Vivian at this time was probably wealthy or as wealthy as all of these people, yet she did not hesitate to provide any of those services. This was her luxury real estate business. Vivian made money when these waterfront homes were bought and sold, which, a few of them were every year. 6% commission on the sale and the buying of the property. I mean, start adding these numbers up, 6% going to Vivian. Do the math. There was a lot of money involved. I got to know Vivian because my father bought a small house from her. Now, this was my father had bought a small house from her like 20 years before. For 20 years, I remember as a kid from like age 8 to 28, I received a birthday card from Vivian. So did my 4 brothers and sisters. Somehow, Vivian heard when I got married and sent me a wedding gift. Now remember, it wasn't me, it was my father who bought that one little house from Vivian. Vivian followed through. And Vivian followed through. Yeah, the luxury business, the people who are in and understand the luxury business, it really is, well, it's doing all those little extra things over and following up. In the luxury business, and kind of thinking most businesses are a personal service business more than a real estate business. If you're in the jewelry business, personal service, it's more than that. Why am I going to deal with this person? Because they're doing this. If I have a choice, I'm going to go to the person who really seems to appreciate my business and is going to give me the little something extra. This little old lady, just dealing in those 2 towns on Cape Cod, on those few hundred houses, she got about, I would easily say, 90% of the real estate business, and that 90% was worth millions of dollars. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to teach many classes to real estate agents, to teach them how to be successful real estate agents. Guess what? All the time, one of my real estate heroes was that little old lady, Vivian. I tell her story. And so often, I'm looking out at an audience and their eyes have glazed over. If I try to talk about Vivian, they'll say, well, yeah, maybe that used to work in the old days, the personal, whatever. But you can't make money today doing business the way that Vivian did. And those people who say that to me, they're right. They can't do it. Today, in those 2 towns on Cape Cod, there are at least 6 real estate offices, big offices with a number of people working in each one of those offices trying to do what that one little old lady in that one room office used to do all by herself. Follow through. All right, I'll be back shortly with our next lesson. Action principle number 5, submit to a higher power, putting our lives into the proper perspective. Hoorah, let's go out, let's do it. I'm Bill Fitzpatrick.
Thank you for listening. For more information on Bill's work, the Action Principles, and the American Success Institute, please visit billfitzpatrick.com.